I'm Scott Fishman.
I'm Jon Dwoskin.
And this is the 7-Minute Salesman.
Welcome, everybody. Hey, Fish, good morning.
Good morning, John. What's going on, man?
Not much. Looking forward to giving our 7-minute community some good sales stuff to take it into the 2020 decade.
Yeah, 2020 vision, guys.
So, Fish, I know we were talking a little bit before the show, and I wanted to chat with our audience today about really going in for the ask, especially when prospecting or even talking to clients, and really just increasing their boldness. It's something that I feel like I've been talking to a lot of salespeople about, where they go to ask a question, but they don't really ask a question, and they go to ask for the business, but they don't really ask for the business. And so it sounds something like, hey, if you're interested, if we break it down to really fundamentals of even just getting a meeting, if you're interested, I would love to come meet with you, yada, yada. But instead of just kind of taking a bolder stance of, hey, I'm looking forward to coming to meet you on Tuesday or Wednesday of next week at 2 or 3 o'clock, what works? It's just holding a different frequency, vibration, energy, and increasing the level of courage and boldness, and just asking really what you want to ask.
Right. And I think that's huge, John, because if we think as salespeople, if we think our buyers and our prospects don't know why we're calling or don't know why we're talking to them, we're fooling ourselves. So they want us to ask, they're expecting us to ask. And when we don't, it just makes us look like total wusses.
Right. And I'm all about kind of like the tee up questions and getting people and building the relationship. And I'm not discounting that for 1 second. You definitely need that, hello, how are you? Tell me about your this, tell me about your that, where's the pain here? I'm all for it. Those are quintessential to the growth of building the relationship capital. But when you get to that point, and every salesperson kind of knows when that point is where they can feel it, it's then really saying and breaking it down in a very, what I like to say a lot of times, USA Today fashion. Simplify it, break it down, and ask so the person who's receiving the question actually understands what you're asking for.
Right. It's like, now, I'm dating myself a little bit here, but also I think some of our younger audience has never had the benefit of actually doing this. But it's like when we were in college, walking up to a girl at the bar and trying to strike up a conversation. Yeah. And you walk up there and you feel it in the pit of your stomach, like, oh, yeah, what am I going to say? And then saying something like, hey, do you know what band this is or something? And then they answer and you walk away. You blew it, right? Right. Like they knew why you were walking up to them. There's no reason, there's no reason not to just ask the question and ask to buy them a drink or whatever. But we walked up and we asked some stupid question and walked away and shrugged and where's the bathroom? And we blew it. And our buyers are the same way. They want us to ask the question. If we don't, we look really weird. Number one, why would you call someone and not ask for the business? But two, it's hard for them to say no. Believe it or not, it's harder for them to say no than to say yes. So we want to put the uncomfortability on them a little bit as well. Put the onus on them to tell you no versus telling you yes.
Yeah. I want to say this too. I just, you said it kind of, it comes across weird. It kind of it makes the conversation uncomfortable sometimes because, the people that we're calling, if they're going to ultimately work with us, they want somebody who can kind of take a strong lead, not be arrogant, not be an asshole, not, but just kind of take a strong lead. And your ability to ask a question and be clear in what you want is really, really important for all parties involved. And so the salespeople sometimes, I think, just on that note, will say, God, I had a really uncomfortable call. That person I called, was blah, blah, blah. Well, but really, as salespeople, we initiate and create that energy a lot of times.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You have to be bold. I talk about entourage a lot with,
I love that
when I train people. And it's like, I always say, be more Ari. Ari was kind of an ass. But be more Ari with your people. He's bold. Don't be Lloyd. Lloyd is kind of weak and he's not the person that you want to represent you. Be the person that you would want to represent you should you have to go into a negotiation.
Yeah.
Don't be the person that's not going to fight for you.
Yeah. And, in today's world, Fish, where, you're talking about like when we grew up, right, we're going to be 48 this year. But when we grew up, that scenario that you at the bar is very real. Today, you can be snapping someone, texting somebody, the level of communication is so different. And so I think it makes it harder for younger generations to actually, when it comes to reality, when you really have to use your voice, it is harder. And so I just want to throw it out there that it requires more practice. It requires more role playing. It requires really having the proper mentors to retrain that piece of your skill set.
Right. And Jon, one more piece to that. I think the text messaging, the snapping, the Tinder, the whatever, that nerfs things, right? We talk about nerfing, like making it easier and softer. Your competition is also feeling that uncomfortableness. They're also trying to hide behind text and email and whatever else when they contact their prospects. So when you think about it, if you go over the top and you're bold and you actually go old school and ask for the business, which to me, I should say is not old school, it's the right school. When you ask for the damn business and your competition is hiding behind all of these tools, you're going to win because you actually have a huge leg up on them because they are pussyfooting around the topic and you're just asking for the business.
Yeah. I want to throw out a challenge to everybody that, pay attention. I think the first level of this, and we could give a lot of examples right now, but the reason we're not giving a lot of examples is because it's very personal per salesperson to how you articulate, ask, and move. And we did give one scenario that can be used in a lot of tentacles earlier. But here's what I'm going to suggest. It starts with raising your level of consciousness that you want to grow and you want to grow in this space. And so a good exercise is pay attention this week and write down 3 sentences and /3 asks that you're asking where you're not getting traction. And then after you have those, spend about 20, 30 minutes rewriting those questions, asks, sentences, etc. And then when you pick up the phone again, take that and ask with more clarity, more directness, more courage. It may feel uncomfortable, but keep on practicing.
Keep practicing and also write a follow-up to whatever that ask is. Because a lot of times we've talked about this before. The first objection, the first smokescreen you get is indeed just a smokescreen. So ask a follow-up question as well. And you'll be amazed at what just asking that second question does to your conversion ratios. It's amazing.
And we've talked about this on past shows about really not taking no for an answer, meaning you got to have in your toolbox 4, 5, 6, 7 different ways to combat the no, because I agree with what you said about the no. And that's then when the conversation starts. It still amazes me how many salespeople, say, well, I called this person 2, 3 times, they didn't call me back, or I called this person and the conversation went nowhere. I asked a question, they shut me down. You got to be armed and ready and practice, especially in this decade where, if you don't do it, your competition is.
Right. And it's respected. If you actually have a solid conversation and you're not just following up with why, and sound whiny, I guess whiny, that's weird. Little pun today for you folks. But if you're actually following up with relevant questions and you're having a convo, people will appreciate that and they will respect you more because you are not just backing down. People will just give you that smoke screen. And when you do just say, okay, I'll talk to you later, they don't respect that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so really kind of tap into your courage and evolve and take yourself to the next level. 2020 is going to be an amazing year for so many people, but the more courage you get, the more you raise your level of awareness, the frequency and vibration of which you come to a call, a meeting, etc., and you ask what you really mean, and then you have the backup questions and talking points, etc. The more you have it, the more you practice, the more your pipeline is going to grow, and the more enjoyment you're going to get out of your year.
I love it, Jon.
Yeah,
this is going to be a great year, folks. 2020 is the year of amazing vision. We need to run. We need to be bold. Let's do it. Let's get off our asses and let's sell well.
Love it. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. Now, no excuses. It's time to put everything you listen to into action. Stop bullshitting yourself. Stop lying to yourself. Stop listening and doing nothing with this information. Take this information, implement it into your day, kick some ass, grow your business, grow your sales, make more money, have more fun, have a better life, period, the end.
What he said.